All right, so my name is Janelle Corpus. I am the founder of KIN, Unified Healing Institute of Sound. We're an ANCC accredited program since 2023, and we recently received an endorsement through the American Holistic Nurses Association in 2025. But I am not a nurse. I healed myself from infertility through sound, and since then I've spent almost a decade in self-directed research and field experience trying to understand how and why it worked for me. So welcome to my presentation. This is the Coherence effect. I'm going to walk you through one of the most underappreciated concepts in health and wellness right now, and that is that the body is a set of nested rhythms, and most of what we call health or illness has to do with whether those rhythms are aligned or disrupted, okay? And am I supposed to be moving these? How do I move the slides? Okay, so there's me. All right, cool. So this is actually a condensed version of a longer talk that is available after the session. It's actually a longer 90-minute talk, and there'll be a QR code for you to download that if you are interested in it. So go ahead and just relax and absorb, okay? By a show of hands in this room, I just want to know how many of you have experienced sound therapy before? Oh, I love it. Yes, we have some new blood. All right. For those of you who have experienced sound therapy before, do you feel like you know how it works, or just you just know that it feels good to you? It just feels good. Okay, awesome. That's great. By the end of this hour, what I hope for is for you to understand a little bit more about how sound therapy works, why it's so effective as an immediate and a trainable intervention, and also why it's beneficial for you in your particular occupation, okay? But before we do that, of course, let's get a little bit grounded because it's a little hectic, you know? And let's go ahead and all just close your eyes. Okay? Let's put one hand over your heart. And let's just take a deep breath in all together, in through the nose, all the way down into the belly. And exhale, release through the mouth with an audible sigh. Now let's do that together with a count, all right? Try to breathe in real slow. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now with your hands still on your heart and your eyes still closed, I want you to be able to name in your head some of the rhythms that you know exist in your body. Okay. Now go ahead and open your eyes. How many people in here said the heart? Okay. How many people in here said your brain waves? Did anybody in here say your menstrual cycle? Okay. Did anybody in here say the circadian rhythm? Okay, all right. So that's great. So every single one of these rhythms, a lot of you are aware of, right? And we know that these rhythms are in the body and that we are actually nested within a larger set of rhythms in the natural world, okay? These rhythms are rhythms that we evolved with inside of, okay? And the further that we start to drift from these natural rhythms, the further that we drift from our own body's source of healing, or the capacity to heal ourselves. Now, oops, sorry, I am not moving my slides. Okay. All right, so here's the thesis, right? Rhythm is the language of the body. Okay, our heart, our brain, our hormones, they're constantly feeding each other signals. And when any one of these signals is off, right, the system starts to false alarm or misfire, right? If there's a miscommunication that happens in the body over time, and this becomes risk of disease. So it's kind of like you think about an orchestra, right? And you think about, you know, maybe the drums are off, or maybe the violin is playing another whole set of rhythms or off key. The entire song is not going to sound right, okay? And so you can kind of use this as a metaphor for how the body interplays with each other. Now the mechanism by which this happens is a mechanism called entrainment. So has anybody heard of this mechanism before? Yeah? All right. when two rhythmic systems come into contact, they tend to synchronize. Okay, this was first documented in 1665 by a Dutch physicist called Christian Huygens. He observed when he put all these pendulum clocks on the wall that all of a sudden they started to phase sync and that they would just naturally start to move all in the same direction. And this is exactly what's happening in our body. We synchronize to external stimuli all the time. Okay? From the moment that we are born to the moment that we die, we are in training to these fields of vibration that we're embedded in. Light, sound, even the person sitting next to you, you're in training to their nervous system. And most of us carry little to no awareness of this influence, all right? So, let's look at how we are nested within larger rhythms of nature and how we've kind of become disconnected from them. Cycles of nature, things like the diurnal cycle, right? The day and night cycle. This happens every 24 hours, right? That's one rhythm that we are attuned to. We have the lunar cycle, which is the synodic period. If you think about your menstrual cycle, this happens with the moon once a month, right? You have the seasonal cycle. This is the changing day length per year, and this is how we get things like seasonal affective depressive disorder, lack of vitamin D, okay, through these seasonal cycles. And then of course you have your annual cycle, which entrains collective cycles like, I'm sure you guys know, mortality rates and birth rates happen differently throughout the annum, right? And your body actually has its own set of rhythms that are entrained to these larger ones. So things like the circadian rhythm, which are entrained to the solar day, okay? And then you have your ultraradian rhythms, okay? So these are endogenous, they happen every 90 minutes, they govern your sleep stages and your attention. And then you have your infraradian rhythms, right? These are longer than the day, so these are things like the menstrual cycle, the seasonal cycle. There was a study that was done, Frontiers in Sleep 2025 by Morin, Forrest, and Imbold, that found that when the body's circadian timing drifts out of alignment with the solar day, it documents elevated risk of cardiovascular, metabolic, and psychological disorders. Now that we know that the body has a set of nested rhythms, what are the timekeepers in the body that help us to stay on track? Okay, so there's two timekeepers in the body. One is located in the brain. So this is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCN. It's about 20,000 clock cells in your hypothalamus that entrain to light. Okay, they govern sleep, cortisol, temperature, and they keep every peripheral clock in your fat, your muscles, your large organs in sync. Okay, and then the second timekeeper in the body is in the heart at the sub-second time scale. And so this is regulating the timing in the body from moment to moment. There was a study done in Psychological Science 2024 by Sargent and his colleagues where they actually took 37 healthy adults. They hooked them up to a 90-channel EEG and an EKG simultaneously, and they asked this question. When the brain and the heart communicate, who is leading the conversation? And what they found was that the heart drove the brain in 4 out of 5 major brainwave bands. And the effect sizes were enormous. So now you have two coordinators, okay, one in the brain that is entrained to light, okay, and one in the heart, which is entrained to the breath, okay? And when they align, there is something measurable that happens that is called coherence. So coherence, as defined in Brain Sciences 2024, and there's a lot of coherence studies. I think the pioneers of coherence were HeartMath Institute. But this paper, specifically in 2024, defined coherence as a measurable state of synchronization across oscillatory systems. So that is the heart, the breath, and the brain showing the same sine wave frequency, which is 0.1 hertz. That is the measurement of coherence. And you can modulate coherence by doing one breath every 10 seconds or 6 breaths per minute. And this is the resonance frequency of the baroreflex loop. So here's the part that I want you to remember. You can actually produce coherence in the body on purpose just by modulating your breath. Immediate intervention, fast, it doesn't cost anything, right? And so I get a lot of these questions. Sometimes when I talk about coherence, people are like, so what? What's the big deal? What does coherence do, right? And so this is why we want to train coherence. Okay, coherence actually rebuilds. every capacity that these environmental disruptors erode, which is like, it brings stress recovery, emotional regulation, sleep, cognition, cardiovascular resilience. It's actually the closest thing that we have in our body to a master switch, okay? So HRV is actually the biomarker of coherence. So it's not necessarily how fast your heart is beating, it's how flexibly it responds to stress. So high HRV means that your nervous system can absorb a hit and it can return right back to its baseline, right? And low HRV means that you have a shorter fuse, there's slower recovery, and you're not as resilient. And so this can affect a lot of things like emotional reactivity and just a lot of different things that we don't want, okay? So now we get into you guys, how nurses are occupationally dysregulated. And I'm gonna preface this by saying that there's a lot of information in these next few slides, and it's not to bring doomsday onto your occupation, right? It's actually to note that these things have been measured over time, that they're predictable, that we have identified the pathway, the mechanism, and that they are amenable to intervention. And I think that all of us in this room are here to lead the way in that sense, okay? So here's the question. How many people in this room have worked a night shift in the last 5 years? Okay, those of you with your hands down, good for you. How many of you have worked night shift in the last year? Okay. How about the last 6 months? People are just leaving their hands up. Okay. All right. Just keep it up. Just keep it up. Okay. All right. So, night shift. Okay. We're going to start here. This is one of the first disruptors, occupational disruptors as a nurse, right? Now, look at the shape of these two curves. Okay. Andreotti and colleagues in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences 2025, this is where the study is from. On the left, okay, you see a healthy cortisol rhythm. The cortisol awakening response actually should surge from 50 to 150% within 30 to 45 minutes of waking, and it should decline during the day so that it bottoms out overnight and you can sleep. Okay. The curve to the right is a person after night shift. Okay. These three things happen. The awakening response blunts to 50%. The whole curve actually flattens, so your cortisol is elevated all day and night. And then your phase timing shifts out of phase with the solar day. And so the flat curve is actually the biomarker for the entire cascade that you are about to see, okay? In 2019, the International Agency for Research on Cancer classified night shift work as a group 2A probable human carcinogen. And this is based on limited human evidence, sufficient animal evidence, strong mechanistic evidence, linking circadian disruption to cancer risk. The cascade also shows up in 5 different other systems, so the metabolic system, glucose intolerance, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular, hypertension, coronary heart disease, the immune system, reduced surveillance, chronic inflammation, your mood, depression, anxiety, hypervigilance, sleep. Cortisol suppresses melatonin, and so that loop closes. And now this bottom row is actually female specific because I see a lot of women in the audience, okay? In a meta-analysis in 2023, Hugh and colleagues examined roughly 195,000 women. Most of them were nurses, and they found out that this type of dysregulation leads to a 30% increase in irregular menstruation, 35% increase in painful periods, and in women under 30, the irregular period length actually increased or jumped to 70%. So younger nurses are actually more vulnerable to this, okay? In 2025, Sarajevo took it a little bit further and identified that this type of dysregulation is dose dependent. So for those who have worked 11 to 19 years on nights, there's an increase of 22%. And for those who worked over 20 years or more, there's an increase of 73% of all of these things. So yeah, very interesting. So this is your occupational physiology, right? As I mentioned before I began, these are predictable, they're measurable, they're mechanism-based, and they're amenable to intervention. So one of the questions I've been asking is, since we know that this happens, what are the institutions doing to provide interventions for you in your job. Okay.
Nighttime differential.
What's that?
They just give us a nighttime differential, that's it.
Okay. Well. Okay. So, I know that this information is it may be, you guys may know this, and maybe this is the first time that you're hearing this, right? But it's good to bring awareness, okay? So, not only do you guys work in odd hours, okay, you also work in environments that are physiologically loud, okay? I actually did a talk on this at the AHNA conference on how most hospitals are above 30% of the decibel levels that is recommended for healing by the World Health Organization. It's really interesting. But this is a disruptor called environmental noise. Okay, so think about your hospital soundscape. Like, close your eyes for a second and think about the alarms, the monitors, the codes, the foot traffic. Okay, this is all sitting on the same pathway. Okay, they're physiologically active sounds. NAHN and colleagues in the Oxidative Medicine and Cellular Longevity Journal 2019 showed that people exposed to high occupational noise are 50% more likely to be depressed. At the worst levels, depression and anxiety roughly double. Okay, so we're looking at this axis, right? There's noise, or the disruptor, HPA activation, cortisol, and then sympathetic dominance. Okay, you'll see this through the rest of the disruptors that I'm also going to share. Now, there's disruptors outside of the hospital. Okay, it's not just being a nurse that's just disruptive. It's really just being a human being. Okay, we have artificial light at night. Okay, so those of you who doom scroll or binge watch Netflix at night or can't sleep, so you're on your phone. There was a study done by Urbano in 2021. It was a meta-analysis of 17 studies. And it showed that women with the highest light at night exposure had an 11% increased chance of breast cancer risk. Now, how many of you guys spend time in nature or make it a point to spend time in nature? Oh, that's good. That's awesome. Low green space, the lack of nature actually shows a flattened diurnal cortisol curve, same thing as in night shift. Okay, so being in nature is really important. There's also the disruptor of social disruption, our relationships, okay? So there was a study that was done by Golazeski in 2022 that studied 58,000 postmenopausal women, and what they found was a high cardiovascular risk when there was the combined feelings of isolation and actually physiological loneliness. And it makes sense, right? Because we actually evolved in humans, in our human timeline as groups, right? Like, there's this human need to belong. When we're around other humans, especially, we feel safe, right? And then when we're alone, there's this natural sort of like heightened on-guardness that happens in our nervous system that we might not actually be aware of now, right? Because we have so many distractions. So yeah, all of these same disruptors work on the same pathway, and so we can actually hack this pathway to bring back some regulation. So there are 4 sound-based interventions that I'm going to present to you today, and this is just to bring some awareness so that maybe you might incorporate some of these things for yourself on a daily basis. My advice is to pick the easiest one and do it for yourself, even like 5 minutes a day, right? The first sound-based intervention that we're going to be speaking about is forest simulation. There were 2 studies done by the same person, or actually no, it was done by Song in 2021, and it showed that 90 seconds of forest sight and sound actually shifted the autonomic nervous system towards parasympathetic dominance immediately. 90 seconds, okay? There was a follow-up study done by Yi in 2022 that showed 17 randomized trials that the effect was a large drop in depression, and there was actually 0 adverse events. So these are things that can be incorporated just very easily without cost. The second intervention is resonance breathing. So this is the breath modulation that I was talking about in the beginning slides. 5 minutes of paced breathing at 0.1 hertz produced a significant jump in heart rhythm coherence. Paced singing at the same 10-second cycle actually produced the same effect. So the frequency is the thing that does the work, not the mechanism of breathing and not the mechanism of singing. It's how slow that inhale and exhale are going out. All right, so the study showed that 20 minutes a day for 4 weeks produced sustained changes in HRV, attention and stress. So coherence is both an immediate state and also a trainable capacity, okay? The third intervention is long-form vocal toning or group vocal toning. In the study by Ruiz Blaze 2020, they took these non-expert singers and they paired them together and they made them sing a sustained note together. And what they saw was that their HRVs started to couple, right? They started to phase sync with each other. That sustained note naturally landed near the coherence frequency, and so the body actually can find coherence on its own just by toning. So who likes to sing in this room? Yeah. I didn't say who likes you to sing. I said who likes to sing, okay? Doesn't matter, who cares? Doesn't matter who likes you, okay? All right, the fourth intervention is slow drumming. Okay, this was actually an old study done by Bittman in 2001. 1 hour of group drumming shifted the cortisol to DHEA ratio and increased natural killer cell activity. This is a measurable reversal of the stress response. And if you sort of operate at least 60 to 70 beats per minute, like the rate of the resting heart rate, right? It actually guides your physiology towards that sympathetic baseline because your breath will naturally lock in to rhythmic auditory stimuli. Then it tells the heart to slow down, and then the heart's like, hey, brain, slow down. And then they're all together, right? So again, forest, breath, toning, and drum, these are 4 doorways sharing the same pathway. And this is, again, HPA axis, and we are moving towards restoration through the pathway that is causing the disruption. Okay? That is it for my talk, so now we're going to experience this, because I can talk all the information that I want. Your body's not going to understand it until you feel it, okay? But I'll leave you with this type of closing. You know, the patients that walk into your room, they're dysregulated. So what good is it going to do if you are also dysregulated? You're just sharing that same signal, right? You guys have the capacity to entrain. You are the instruments of healing. It's not the protocols, it's not the drugs, it's not the even tools that you use. It's you, it's your heart. So, you know, care for you, and you will be the instrument of ultimate healing. Okay? All right, so we're gonna go into a sound bath now, and you'll experience some of these modes that I was talking about. You can take all this information, contact us, and then this is the to download the whole presentation, so I'll leave that up. What else was I going to say? So you'll experience some slow drumming. I'm going to modulate your breath to that coherence frequency, and then you'll hear us play the bowls and some of the other instruments, and just feel what's happening in your body. Feel what's happening to your thoughts, to your breath, to your heart. Okay? All right, you guys ready? Yeah. All right. So if I could get my log turned on. Thank you. This is Jeff, everyone. So make him embarrassed. All right, everyone. Gently close the eyes. And bring your awareness to your heart. Become aware of how fast or how slow the heart is beating. Together with our breath, we are going to bring the heart into a state of rest. But let's find the breath first. Take a deep breath in through the nose, all the way down into the belly. Feel the belly rise and expand. And slowly exhale out. Begin to feel the temperature of the breath as it enters into the nose. As you slowly exhale out, feel how the temperature of the breath has changed just through one cycle in the body. On your next inhale in, begin to hear the breath as it enters into the nose, like the waves of an infinite ocean. And as you slowly exhale out, hear the sound of the waves returning back to shore. On your next inhale in, begin to see the breath. See it emerging at the center of the heart as a beautiful, bright, golden light. And as you slowly exhale out, just see this golden light beginning to surround you, like a sphere of golden light encompassing you. As you continue to breathe slow and deep, see this golden light getting brighter and brighter around you. Begin to see and sense and feel the sphere of golden light transforming into the walls of your sacred heart space. As if your heart was a temple, see yourself there now. Begin to ask the heart what it needs, what it wants. See yourself sitting within the temple of your heart. And we're going to begin to breathe together to the rhythm of the beat. So just follow my count and follow my cues. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Deep inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigh it out. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigh it out. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigh it out. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Buzz it out. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Buzz it out. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Shush it out. 4, shush it out. Good. Just keep breathing, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. Begin to bring awareness back into your body and exhale out with an audible sigh. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe rock your head and neck from side to side and let it fall into place. If it feels good to you, you can stretch your arms up and overhead. And then just gently bring the arms down to the side. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. How are you feeling? Thank you guys so much. Let's actually close this meditation out all together. Okay, let's place our hands to heart center. Thank you guys so much for having us, inviting us to be a part of this community. I really am very honored to be able to be on the stage and provide this service for you, as well as Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. And I want to say that I hope that any healing and awareness that has happened in the last 60 minutes, may it be long-lasting. Any healing and awareness that is yet to come for you, we all trust that it will all happen at the right time. Let's close this meditation out together with one collective Om. Take a deep inhale in. Om. Thank you so much. We have a few more minutes left, a couple of minutes. Would anybody like to share any experience that they might have had, or if you have any questions, the floor is open. Yeah. Anyone?